Hey, 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 good morning, sports fans. Louis Diamond coming at you live from our Las Vegas handicapping studios. And it is a big Saturday, probably the best Saturday of football games yet this COVID season. So, looking for a big slate of winners. And if you're familiar with us, we've been producing some nice winners for you. So if you like the information we've been providing for you, please subscribe to us at Louis Diamond on YouTube, wherever you're watching us right now, or at bettercenter.com on Facebook. And we'll be happy to get you some winners as soon as we can get them out to you. Today, I am joined with our resident handicappers, Del Warfield and Tony Gullidge. And it's nice to hear Del Warfield getting rid of the little bug that he had inside the system, feeling a little better today. So nice to have you back here, Del, and Tony. The same. Both you guys had a little bit under the weather this week. How you guys feeling, Del?
Yep, but feeling much better now. I had to kind of stay away for a little bit. Didn't want to give it to you guys either. So feeling much better now, 100%.
All right, that's good to hear. How about you, Tony? I know you had a little bug going this week as well. Feeling a little better?
Oh yeah, I'm ready to fire. I had a couple days where I just didn't feel great, but now I'm back 100%. Thanks, Lou.
All right. That is good to hear. So let's get right down to it with some college football today. And our first game on our schedule. If you watched us yesterday, we chatted about it a little bit with the other handicappers. Let's see what they have to say today about the Mississippi State. And they are playing at Kentucky. Kentucky is now a 3-point favorite. So after our show yesterday, which was 2.5, it's now a 3-point favorite. The total opened up at 55.5. I see it as high as 58. So they're steaming the over. Little steam on Kentucky. And Tony, why don't you get us started? What do you got here with Kentucky and Mississippi State?
Well, I had Kentucky, I believe, last week. Guy fumbles going into or gets tackled. I don't know what the hell you call that when you're showboating down the field with 5 guys chasing. You start dancing at the 10 and get tackled at 2, and then you miss a field goal. I don't even know what the hell you call that. I don't have a play for this game. Obviously, Kentucky's probably the right side, but after what happened last week with them, I'm not touching that game, guys. Somebody tell me who you like.
All right, well, I'll tell you, I got a little love for Mississippi State here today. Talked about it a little bit yesterday. I like the points passing matchup versus a running matchup. And usually I'll take the running matchup if they're the better ball club. I don't think that's the case here today. What do you think, Del? Anything?
Not really. I'm not going to be betting this game. Mississippi State had that huge upset against LSU. But with that line moving up for Kentucky, 2.5 to 3 now, I kind of lean Kentucky, but just like you guys said, I'm not really going to be playing this game either. So I'm just going to kind of stay away from this one.
All right, so I guess I'm the only one with a little love for that game here today. So like I said, I'm liking the points. I like the 3 points of Mississippi State. I think they're the better ball club. They're the passing team. And if they can get themselves ahead, Kentucky will find themselves in a struggle to get themselves out of that hole. All right, let's hit to the next game on our schedule. And that will go to the NC State Wolfpack. Now, the NC State Wolfpack is playing at Virginia. Virginia opens up a 9.5-point favorite. They've been bet down to 7.5 and even 7 in some spots. The total, 56.5 up to 58.5. And let's see what you got to anything on this one, Del.
Yeah, same thing. I'm not really going to be betting this game either, but it's a little bit scary though for Virginia because action is actually coming in on Virginia, and you got reverse line movement there, having to go from 9.5 to 7.5. So that's a little bit scary for me. I initially lean Virginia, but with that movement, it kind of pushes me the opposite way for NC State. I don't like it really either side. I'd much rather hear what you guys got to say on this game.
All right, I think a lot of that movement is the fact that the Wolfpack have been a terrible road team, 1-8 their last 9 games on the road, and as far as Virginia comes to town, they're 18-6 versus a team with a winning record. So you got a couple nice edges there for the Cavaliers. Tony, what do you see in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Wolfpack here. Virginia as this kind of favorite just smells bad. They hung with the spread last week against Clemson, but really what kept them in the game, I think more than anything, was the weather. It was very wet, rainy, just kind of, and that seemed to keep Clemson slowed down for a part of the game. And Virginia was able to put up a little bit of points there. I think when you ask something of Virginia, getting 20 points, 25 points, it's easy to cover, but now you're coming back home laying a touchdown. I actually got NC State 7.5. NC State got throttled at Virginia Tech a couple weeks ago, but then were able to go to Pittsburgh and grind out a 30-29 win, straight up road underdog win. I think the 7.5 is a little too ambitious for Virginia. I don't trust them. In fact, I'll take NC State here.
All right, so there we go. We got a little action there from Tony G on NC State as a nice little dog. I see some edge on the over. I think I can see why the game got steamed a little bit to the over. 6 out of the last 7 Wolfpack games have gone over. Virginia is always underpriced because I don't know why. Yes, they had a great defense a few years ago. They've been riding on this defense, but 8 straight overs for the Cavaliers. Let's ride the train with the over in this one here today, guys. I think you got a nice solid play. 24-9-1 the last 34 games at Virginia as a favorite to the over. So let's roll with that over here today with NC State and Virginia So Tony also says, let's roll with NC State. So little dog, little over for the guys here at Bettor Center. Don't forget, subscribe below. You'll get these plays as they happen. And let's get on to our next game. And it's a big one. At least it's a real big one for Derek King, who is facing an opponent that has crushed his team before he was there, a total of 96-3 the last 2 outings. So Clemson, 14-point favorite, and they are, let me get us up to 15, 14.5 and 15. They're getting some love. The total was 65. The under's getting a lot of love, down to 59.5. I don't think they're expecting a big day for Derek today. What do you guys think, Del?
Well, actually, I've been hard on Miami. I love Miami, but I mean, if you look at it, it's still Clemson, right? They're still the best team in the nation. This is going to be a really good matchup, 7 versus 1. I like the points here. I think Miami getting that 14 and a half, if you can get it at 14 and a half or that 15, is going to be a really good bet. Pretty evenly matched teams. I like Miami here. You can argue kind of everything that you can argue for Miami. You can argue the exact same thing for Clemson. Good defenses, really good quarterback play, good running games. So I'm just going to be taking the points here, 14 and a half. I think it's going to be a really good bet for Miami.
All right, Del taking the dog, looking for the dog to bite against some Tigers. Woo. All right, Tony, how about you? What are your thoughts on the game?
I'm going to kind of go with Dale here. I like Miami and the points. They're 3-0 against the spread. Clemson, I noted Clemson, their defense does not appear to be the shutdown, hammering Clemson defense that we've seen in years past. I thought they showed some vulnerabilities against Virginia. The deep pass, back line of the Clemson defense, there's some suspect to me. They did not look overbearing. I was not overly impressed. Miami, they just got to avoid the turnovers here. I'm not going to suggest that this is a changing of the guard by any means in the ACC, but what I'm seeing here is the next team to step up and challenge Clemson. This is a lot of points to give a team that actually can put points on the board. 15 is what I got. Miami plus 15. It certainly has that frightening appearance of a Clemson beating. You look at Clemson's, beat Wake, which everybody has. They're not good. They beat Citadel. That we're not even going to count that game. They didn't cover. So, I mean, literally Clemson's not covering spreads. They're trying to find that groove with the line with them, and I don't think they found it yet. I think they're still overpriced. I'm going to try to sneak in a 15-point underdog here with Miami today.
All right, couple of Hurricanes looking for the Hurricanes to cover during the hurricane weekend. Delta about to touch down here. I got to agree with both you guys here. I really want to hammer the game, but I think that's just kind of because I really believe Derek King and hoping that he's going to have a big season. So facing Clemson, can't hammer anything facing Clemson, but I'll take the points. I'll join you guys here today. Take them 2 touchdowns and more with the Miami Hurricane over the Clemson Tigers. All right, next game on our board is going to feature dun, 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 dun. I should have this stuff ready, but I believe it's Virginia Tech. The Hokies are at the Tar Heels of North Carolina. North Carolina opens up 5.5. They get bet down to 3, so we got some steam on Virginia Tech. The total goes from 60 down to 57, and we got a steam with the under. So the sharp guys are playing Virginia Tech in under here, or I wouldn't say the sharp guys. The money is anyways. So what we got anything on this one? Tony, I'll go right back to you.
Yeah, North Carolina 2-0. They had a postponed game last week after a couple weeks off. They went up to Chestnut Hill, literally came down to the end of the game. Boston College lined up with a 2-point conversion to tie the game. Instead, the Tar Heels scoop it up, run it the other way for 2 points, get a 26-22 win at Boston College. I'm going to play the Tar Heels here at home. These two teams have kind of ground into each other. Carolina finally beat them. Tar Heels had trouble with Virginia Tech for several years, but last year they were able to finally get through. Virginia Tech, not totally impressed. They did get the nice looking on paper win against NC State at home to start, but NC State essentially gave them the game. Turnovers, sloppy play, basically set it up for an easy Virginia Tech win. And then Virginia Tech comes back last week and kind of, again, sloppily, and Duke gives them a game. So Virginia Tech comes in here with 2 wins, but both of them have basically been hand-gifted by their opponent. I don't think North Carolina is going to be quite as generous in giving things away today. Virginia Tech's going to have to earn it. I think North Carolina's going to be able to pull out a win here. Look for something in the touchdown range. Tar Heels for me today.
A little bit of Tar Heels. I guess you're giving me a little confirmation on my little under play I see here. But let's see what Dell has to offer on the game before I get into that. Dell, anything with NC State and Virginia?
Yeah, to actually completely agree with your little tease, I really like the under too. I like the line actually moving down to 57. I think 2 really good quarterbacks too. I think Tony actually gave us that nugget on Virginia Tech's quarterback too. But with that being said, I really like this under with the money coming in, the action coming on this game. I'm more of a consensus guy. I'm more of a guy to follow the money, and I love this game going under today.
All right. I definitely agree with you on the under in this play as the Commodores come in, Vanderbilt come in 18-7-2 to the under the last 27 following an ATS win, 10-3 to the under their 13 conference. So 6-1 to the under with a team with a losing record, 4 straight unders overall, while the Gamecocks 5 out of the last 6 under on the turf, 4 out of 5 overall, 6 out of 2, 6-2 as a favorite. And when these two teams get together, 4 out of the last 5 have gone under. It's obvious why the move happened here. And I think that you got to roll with the under here. I think the under here is a play with the South Carolina Gamecock and the Vanderbilt Commodores. Wait, did I do that? We're talking.
You messed it up. You can lead us right into that game, bro.
It was a Virginia. Yeah, it was Virginia Tech. Son of a. It's early, gentlemen. It's early. All right. And I'm not the host. I'm only filling in for the host. That's why we got a host. He's better at this stuff than me. All right. So now, can you guys help me with our next game on the schedule? Let me see if I can find that one right now.
I can give you something on that Vanderbilt game, Lou, that you were just discussing.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right. Vanderbilt, South Carolina. You got a pair of 0-2 teams playing SEC style. I'm going to end up on Vanderbilt here. Very similar to the earlier play we gave, the Virginia, where I just don't trust the favorite. South Carolina, they played well at both Tennessee and Florida. I know that I had South Carolina against Florida getting to 17. They did cover the spread, but getting 17 and giving 13 is a different kind of animal. Like I say, you always can try to sneak in teams when nothing is expected of them. The pressure's not on them. They're able to perform. But when you lay a 13-point line down, and granted, Vanderbilt's not very good, but their defense isn't awful. They hung in with Texas A&M 17-12. And although they lost 41-7 to LSU, that score literally could have been a lot worse. I thought Vanderbilt's defense actually made some decent plays for as horribly as their offense played in that spot. Certainly could be a dangerous spot for Vanderbilt here, but I believe with that huge underdog total, South Carolina is not a team you should trust laying that kind of points. In fact, I'm going to take them and play Vanderbilt here.
All right, little bit of a dog barking again. Tony's got some dogs barking today. All right, so now that I've got myself recombobulated, if that's a word, I don't know, but I was discombobulated. I know that. Anyways, we got Tennessee. Now, here's a team that has absolutely struggled against any top 25 team, probably for the past half a decade. Now they got a little resurgence going. They have a little defense going. They're facing a real defense in the Georgia Bulldogs. So the Georgia opens up a 14.5-point favorite, but it has crossed. Tennessee has gotten the steam. It's crossed and gone down to 12 or 12.5. So it's crossed the 13 and 14 key numbers. So a lot of steam there on Tennessee for that movement. Total's been at 43.5 to 42.5 all week. And let's hear what Dell has to offer us on this game, Georgia versus Tennessee.
Yep. So I actually love this game too, especially with that total coming into play about 43. I think this game is going to be going under too. But with that being said, I like the side here of Tennessee. You're giving me 25% of the total points for free in a low-scoring game. I love it. I love Tennessee. As you said, they've been a really horrible team this last decade or so, but I think this is the best team that they have had in a long time. I think that they'll be able to compete, kind of keep it close. Defensive game, low-scoring game. I got to take the points here. I love Tennessee getting that 12.5.
All right. All right. What do you have to add? Agree, disagree, rave, rant? What do you got, Tony?
Well, this is going to be our first confrontation of the day, as I am going to end up playing Georgia here. This is one of these games. Kirby Smart, the coach of Georgia, as a player, never was able to beat Tennessee, including a devastating loss his senior year to Peyton Manning on I don't know if you guys remember, probably too far back to remember, an incredible, crazy finish where Peyton Manning throws a touchdown pass right at the end. And Kirby Smart. So when Kirby Smart finally began coaching Georgia, his first year, he made it a mission to beat Tennessee. His first year as a coach at Georgia did not get it done. But since then, they have absolutely crushed Tennessee. I don't know if it's something personal, not exactly sure what, but when Georgia plays Tennessee, they're out for blood. I think Tennessee definitely is better than they have been. But I think the defense of Georgia here is going to be very tough. We're going to find out what Tennessee's got today because they are playing a stud defense. I just noticed some of the stats for Georgia defensively. Probably going to stack them right up as the best defensive team in the country. If you extrapolate the level of competition, they just shut Auburn down to a nub last week. They just bitch slapped Arkansas the first week. So, 37-10, 27-6. Nobody's really moving the ball on them either. Tennessee defense is a little, offense is better, but their defense is what I'm concerned with here. I'm going to go the opposite of Dell. So we're going to get a little contest going on this one. I'm going to play Georgia today.
All right. You guys are looking for the rubber answer from me on the rubber match. I want to lean with the points in a game like this, but I like a lot of what you said there, Tony, especially when you got a coach that seems to have a certain team circled every year on his calendar. So I don't like to bet against that. So I'm going to have to kind of stay away. But I was leaning to the points. But you've talked me off my lean, I'll tell you that. I don't know where Dell's at, but I was fairly convinced. But that's pretty much because I like hearing when people circle certain teams. And you want to bet that game, but you always want to bet against them before that game, and you want to bet against them after that game. So those are the things that you're looking for. So if Georgia crushes, we'll probably fade them next week. At least we'll be looking for that fade. All right, we'll be right back with Bettor Center Live. This is Louis Diamond from our Las Vegas Handicapping Studios. Be right back with some more college football action.
Brad Stein here live from Las Vegas. Join us daily for Bettor Center Live with our professional handicappers, where you get sports information you can bet on. Stop gambling, start winning. Bettor Center Live.
Bam, and I'm sure you're wondering, why the hell do we post that commercial all the time? I wonder that myself. But it's there, so we use it. Anyways, let's get right back to college football. And Texas Tech, they are at Iowa State. Iowa State, they had a game circled last week, and they won it. And you got it here from us, because last week I gave you Iowa State. Ross gave you Iowa State. I gave you Iowa State on the money line last week. They win the game outright. We cashed a nice ticket with them last week. I don't think the ticket's there this week. What are you thinking, Del? You got anything Texas Tech, Iowa State?
I think this is going to be a typical conference game where there's going to be very, very little defense. I like this game going over. I think 64.5 was the last time I saw it at. Just going to be riding the over here. There's no defense at all played in this conference, so taking the points in the over.
The points in the over. Sorry about sneezing on you there, Del. I guess, well, I hope not. We're many miles apart. We social distance. So anyways, okay. So Tony, what about you? Iowa State, Texas Tech. What are you thinking?
I'm going to defer judgment to you guys on this contest, as I'm sure you've got better feelings about it than I do. Yeah, Dale, man, this is a defense optional lead outside the Pac-12, which has decided not to play football at the moment. This Big 12 always been defensive optional. Tough for me to really pick a side here. I agree with the over. If you're going to play this, for me it would be over. But I really don't have a side. What have you got here, Lou?
I got the dog, baby. I think the dog barks. Just like kind of what I set you up for. They had the game circled last week, and this week they're going to be flat. They don't do as a big favorite, Iowa State. Iowa State does well as a dog, as a road underdog, as a double-digit road underdog, but as a double-digit home favorite, they don't fare well. And they had a big win last week. Texas Tech, they've been in some tough battles, lost some tough games. I think Texas Tech may have a shot on the money line. I don't think it's a money line bet, but I like Texas Tech today, plus the 13 points. I think that's going to be a winner for you today. All right, next game on the schedule. We are at the Florida State. Seminoles are at Notre Dame. Notre Dame is 3-touchdown favorite. They were 21.5. Now they're 21. Total 54 down to 53.5. Has anybody got any vibes on this one, Tony?
Well, I don't have any true vibes here, but I will tell you, last week when I was watching the Florida State game, the way they started that game, just getting bitch slapped by Jacksonville State, I jokingly told a friend of mine, if Florida State was to actually lose this game, they should fire the coach on the spot and not let him back onto the team facilities. Just say, hey, look, go home. We'll send you your shit. Don't come back. But that second half, they steamrolled, didn't cover, but at least they did win. Maybe that'll give them some momentum here. Definitely never like to play Notre Dame in these kind of spots. 20 good Lord, 21 points. Obviously, this isn't Bobby Bowden's Florida State team. There's no Charlie Ward. There's no defense. There's no Deion Sanders. But still, 21 points here. I'm going to pass, but I would think, for me personally, if I was going to play this, it would be Florida State. I'm sure you guys have more confidence in one of these sides.
Dal, you got anything on the game?
No, I'm not really going to be betting it, but I mean, you think that Florida State would come out so flat last week? Maybe because they were looking ahead to this game. That makes it a little bit scary. I don't think Florida State's good at all this year. I don't want to take Florida State. I think the points might be too much for Notre Dame because you're kind of thinking that Florida State was maybe looking ahead to get smacked like that by Jacksonville State. I don't really like it. I don't really like a side. I don't like a total. I'm just going to completely stay away from this one and see what you got, Louis.
Well, obviously I have it. We're talking about it because I like it, guys. This is my play. I definitely think Notre Dame is a spot here. Florida State, we've been saying it all season long, barely a 500 club, but they're not even that. So, and now they're starting a new quarterback here today after, I guess, came in the second half of last week. But they're not going to be ready for this team. Notre Dame had a little time to prepare, and this is their opportunity to actually excel. I think they poured the points on. I think it's probably like a 51-10 kind of game. So I think it's going to be a blowout with Notre Dame doing the blowing out. So let's move on to the next game. Hopefully you guys will have a little opinion on this one, which will be Virginia Tech, and they are at North Carolina. And we got Virginia Tech -3. The total is at 57. And let's see who has something here. Dell, anything?
Yeah, I think we talked about this one a little bit earlier in the
We
show. I
did.
think Tony
How
had
the hell did
North
that
Carolina
happen?
this one.
We did. Man, so one of these days I'm going to figure out how to be the host. All right, so did we do Florida and Texas A&M? We did not.
No.
I know we didn't do that
We
one.
have not.
Florida opens up at 6. It's been a solid 6 all week. Total 57.5. Moved to 59. It's a solid 59. Florida and Texas A&M. Dell, go.
All right, so this one's a little bit tough for me because I'm high on Florida this year. I think they're one of my favorite teams to, have a shot at the championship. That's not as much chalk. I love Florida, but I got to stay away from this one. I mean, that line's a little bit scary for me at that 5. Even the money line values, even dropping on Florida too, with it staying pretty consistent. I got to stay away from this one. I can't just bet with my heart on who I think, probably the best team in my opinion, as a, not a chalk team, of course, in college football. I can't bet them here, so I got to stay away.
Okay. Well, all right. Tony, you staying away? You playing?
I'm going to play Florida. I think a lot of this coming back to Texas A&M is looking at the past history of Florida. Don't think they've been good in road favorite spots. So, if you look at the trend lines here, I think you could be swayed off of Florida. But Texas A&M offense, not good enough. Florida's offense, solid. I think defensively, you even can give an edge to Florida. The only way I see Texas A&M hanging close to here is if Florida spits the bit and throws turnovers all over the field. And when you go into a game counting on something like that to happen, you usually don't get it. I'm going to lay the points here and take Florida to continue what has been a strong season for them. And I just think Texas A&M is a couple notches down. This for me should be about a 10-point spread, and it's moving the other way. I'm not going to be swayed by what the others are seeing here. I'm just going to take Florida and go with it.
All right. I got some good news for you, Tony. Florida Gators as a road favorite. Any idea what their record is in the last 40-some games?
Well, going back that far, I think it's good. But I was thinking more recently in the last 5 or 6 years, I think they've shit the bed a couple times. But going back, way back, I think they've had some when Spurrier coached, they used to dominate because Spurrier would run up the score on everybody. So, I know they were good back then. So what have you got? What is it, Lou?
Well, now I'm 31-12 the last 43 games as a road favorite. So we'll have to break that down and find out what's happened in the last 10.
Yeah, I bet some of those were Spurrier just running up scores on people. Is my guess.
Sure.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah, because they weren't a road favorite very often until the last couple of years. They had some weak spots for about 3 or 4 years where they weren't able to do much within the conference. So
that makes me feel
all right.
better,
So let's move to our next game on the schedule. That will feature the Gamecocks of South Carolina, and they are a 13-point favorite. They're at everybody's favorite redheaded stepchild. The Vanderbilt Commodores. I'm sorry. I no offense, Tony. You know, it's a joke.
Yeah, no, let's go.
Anyways, total is 4.
I am the redheaded stepchild.
Are you really? Damn it.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I said it was in the back of my head. I don't know. I had no idea. So, but I knew you were redheaded. So it came to my head as soon as I said, shit. All right. I meant nothing personal in that. God forbid I go politically incorrect in today's world.
Oh,
50 lashes. What's that?
so we've
Oh,
already
I
done
got
the
Eugene in my
Vanderbilt
ear
game.
too. The Vanderbilt
Vanderbilt
game.
game.
All
We've
right.
done it.
South Carolina, 13.5-point favorite. Total 41.5. Tony, go.
I still like Vanderbilt from earlier in the show. I don't trust South Carolina given the 13 points. I think it's too many. Vanderbilt, although their offense isn't great, I think defensively they can at least make a couple plays here and there. Mainly, this play from me is a fade of South Carolina as a big favorite. Simply not trusting them. I'm going to play the Commodores, as I used to call them when they really sucked. The Vanderbilt Commodores plus the points.
There you go. All right. So the total went from 48.5 down to 40.5. A lot of steam on that under. Dell, what do you see with South Carolina, Vandy?
Yeah, so I initially did like the under as well, but like you said, it seemed a little bit way too much out of my range, way behind the 8 ball to kind of give that out now. So I'm going to be staying away from this total now. I definitely agree with Tony. I think South Carolina shouldn't be a double-digit favorite to pretty much anybody in this league. So I got to stay away though. I would lean with Tony there taking Vanderbilt, but I can't take this under, and I definitely can't take South Carolina here today. So what do you got, Louis?
Well, we got under City no matter how we look at it, and but the line has been steamed all the way down to 41.5. So you're way late on the steam. So probably a little late to play the under. It is the only way to play this game here today. All right, next game on the schedule. 2 more left here, guys. We'll cover the Arkansas game. Total's 45.5. They're at Auburn. Auburn is a 2-touchdown favorite. And let's see what we got on this one. Actually, they opened up at 16, went down to 14. So early steam on Arkansas. Arkansas total went from 56.5 down to 45.5. Major league steam on the under. So any ideas why we're undering on this game, Dell?
It's just that money coming. It's just all reversed too. So I mean, I really love these unders, but I mean, I feel like we're just a little bit too far behind to actually take it now, since it's moved a little bit too much. So I got to stay away from this one. I did kind of lean Auburn as well early, but this is a really tough game in my opinion to actually pick a side. So I got to defer to you guys on these ones. I'm sorry. What do you guys got?
All right, Tony, how about you? Arkansas, Auburn. We got anything going there?
This is one of those handicapper toolbox plays for me. I love these kind of setup games where you had Auburn eviscerated at Georgia last week, completely embarrassed in a 27-6 loss. And on the flip side of that, what do you have? You have Arkansas winning an SEC game for the first time, and Lord knows when. They the most feudal SEC team out there. I mean, losing 30, 40 points every week for a couple years. And they come up with a 21-14 straight up went on the road in the SEC. Come on, man. So, yes, you just build in pack line value on that right away. And yes, I've got Auburn as a 21-point winner in this game. Tons of line value. Setup is perfect. Everything I like to see in a bet. I like Auburn here to roll Arkansas all over.
I like the way you think there, Tony. Absolutely. Way too big of a win. Those guys partied this week. They're not ready. So I believe,
Yeah.
and our Auburn, they were pissed this week. They will be ready. Don't worry about the 2 touchdowns there, guys. Lay it with Auburn. I agree with you there. All right, last game on our schedule before we get to the most interesting play of the day. We got LSU. They are a 2-touchdown favorite as well, and they are at Missouri, who has been taking a beating here this year, playing some tough teams and trying to rebound. What are you thinking? Total is 54. What are you thinking on this one, Dell? Anything?
Pretty small lean actually. I don't like LSU here. If I was going to take a side, I would actually take the horrible looking Missouri team, as horrible as that sounds. Um, as far because the way I look at the games, I look at the line, I look at line movement, and I look at money coming in. This is just a really dangerous play in my opinion for LSU, so I do lean Missouri. I'm not going to be touching the side, but it's not going to be a strong play by any means. But I do have a lean on Missouri here.
Okay. Tony, you got anything for us on this play here today?
Yeah, so this is going to be an absolute fade play on Missouri. They got crushed last week by Tennessee 35-12. Really, they got crushed in the opener by Alabama, but they covered the spread as Alabama kind of just didn't care in the fourth quarter. Classic backdoor cover from Missouri in that first effort. LSU, devastating loss in that opener, 44-34 to Mississippi State. Comeback last week. I did note that they could have played a little better even in a 41-7 win at Vanderbilt, just a crushing. And I think in this spot, you're going to see the power football from LSU. I would not count on much from Missouri. If you're a totals player, unless they get defensive touchdowns or something on the special teams, I would look for Missouri to have a very low score total here today. LSU was coming in just to get that season going. Like that opening loss, I think, set a fire under them. I'm looking for that to continue. I'm playing LSU in this spot.
All right. I will have to agree with you in this spot. They are lowly, these Missouri Tigers, and LSU. They aren't what they were last year, but they are not those Missouri Tigers. They are the LSU Tigers. But a note on your under theory there, Tony. 17-5 to the under the last 22 Missouri games overall. So they have that history of going under. 23-9 to the under following an ATS loss. 35-16-1 to the under on the turf. So I have to agree with you on the under. When LSU, a little worried though, they are 6-2 to the over their last 8 road games. But following ATS loss, defense shows up 23-9 to the under following ATS loss. So I got to agree with you on LSU. I do like the under because I believe it's going to be a blowout. It shouldn't be close. So that being said, it's time for the most interesting play of the day. All right, Del, shoot us with a winner. What do you got for us today?
All right, so for our most interesting play of the day today, by far the most interesting is that 1 versus 7 matchup, Clemson versus Miami, that we already talked about in the show. Pretty evenly matched teams. You're getting 14 and a half, maybe even 15 some places with Miami. Probably the best bet on the board in my opinion. I love this game. Really interesting. It's going to be a great game to watch regardless. So take the Hurricanes today. I think it's going to be a great play, and it should cash out for us.
All right. We got the Miami Hurricanes from Dell. Tony, most interesting play.
Yeah, go right back to that handicappers toolbox play. Don't get them all the time, but you love when for a handicapper, you look for situations and setup. Perfect setup for Auburn. Absolutely crushed last week, playing an opponent off a straight-up upset win on the road when they hadn't won an SEC game in several seasons. Beautiful setup. Love the fact that I think that even helped it. This line should be about 21. It's 14. Take Auburn today.
Tony, I think you sold me on that play. I'm going to be playing Auburn today. I think I'm sold by Tony Gullidge, no doubt, because you make some very solid points. So I'm going to do my best to take advantage of that one as well. And as far as my most interesting play, it's going to be with NC State and Virginia to the over. And I think that even though we're a little bit behind the move, the 58.5 now from the 56, I still think we're all right. I think both of these teams in this scenario play themselves into an over situation. I think we see an over 58.5 today with NC State and Virginia. And that is my most interesting play of the day. So stay informed, my friends. Sign on below. Subscribe. YouTube, Louis Diamond /Louis Diamond. You'll get these plays as they happen. Or if you're watching us on Facebook, subscribe to the Bettor Center group so you can get these plays fresh off the press. All right. I would like to thank Del and Tony for joining us today after a rough week of feeling under the weather. Nice to see you guys are feeling better. Thank you very much for joining us today. We'll be here, the same three of us, the three stooges of sports betting will be here tomorrow. Or maybe the three stooges of me, Ross, and Chip. I don't know. Either way, we got some winners for you again in the NFL tomorrow. I got Tony Cusimano. I heard he's going to be in 2 cities tomorrow. How's that going to happen in our half-hour show? You're going to have to tune in to find out. So get more winners from us tomorrow. This is Louis Diamond, and you just watched Bettor Center Live.